Looking into the eyes of someone you've known your whole life, and suddenly not being able to remember their name. It's not just embarrassing, it's terrifying. It feels as though a part of your soul has been erased. What's worse is that you don't even notice when it begins. At first, you forget why you walked into a room, then where you put your glasses, and one day you can't remember your own grandson's birthday. That's when the realization hits. You're not just losing your memory, you're losing your connection to life, to your loved ones, and to yourself. And what's even more painful is that most people ignore these early signs. They think, well, it's age, it's normal. But it's not normal. And it's not inevitable. Because there are simple, scientifically proven actions you can start taking today to preserve your memory, mental clarity, and true brain power, even after 70. On the channel Conscious Knowledge, we uncover forgotten but powerful methods that really work. And if you want not just to preserve your memory, but to shock your doctors with your mental sharpness, stay with us until the end. What you're about to learn in this video could completely change your experience of aging. But first, let me tell you how everything changed for one ordinary person who started doing just 2 things a day, and the results astonished even him. But the real fear begins when you understand what is happening in your brain right now. Let's move on to the second part. Memory doesn't disappear all at once. It slips away slowly, almost invisibly, like sand through your fingers. You don't even notice how you lose yourself. Today you forget your new neighbor's name. Tomorrow, the title of the book you just finished. And the day after tomorrow, you stand by the stove and can't remember whether you turned the gas off. The cause can be anything: chronic stress, fatigue, sleepless nights. But most often, it's something you don't even notice. Blood no longer flows to the brain as it used to. Neural connections break down, and you still think it's just aging. But imagine, your brain is a complex mechanism that needs attention, just like the heart or lungs. Now imagine that every day, without realizing it, you're cutting it off from its supply, its oxygen. And this goes on for years. That's why millions of elderly people never make it to the moment when they could. Reverse the process. But one man refused to accept that. He believed that brain aging could not only be slowed down, it could be stopped. His name was Alexander Alexandrovich Mikulin, and what he discovered could save your mind. But who was this man, and why are his discoveries still hidden from most people? He was born in a time when medicine was just beginning to understand how the human body worked, but Mikulin was ahead of his time. He wasn't just an academic. He was an aircraft designer, engineer, inventor, and the savior of thousands of lives, including his own. At 50, doctors told him he didn't have long to live: a weak heart, chronic fatigue, memory decline. The diagnosis was clear. But instead of giving up, he began searching for answers, and he found them. He developed a system of body restoration that not only allowed him to return to an active life, but extended it by decades. He lived to be 90 with a sharp mind, a vibrant interest in life, and energy that even the young envied. He often said a simple but chilling phrase: "A person doesn't age because they've lived many years. They age because they stop caring about their blood circulation and brain activity." He didn't believe in pills. He believed in action, in consistency, in the power of nature and the mind. And it's thanks to his methods that today thousands of people are regaining their memory, focus, and mental clarity, even in their later years. But what exactly did he do every day? And what simple habit, done twice a day, shocked even his doctors? Let's move on to the most surprising part. The first habit? A forgotten one: brain shaking. That might sound absurd, but this simple movement, done twice a day, changed his life. Mikulin's method is now changing the lives of others as well. He called it the gravitational impulse. All you need to do is stand on your toes and sharply drop down onto your heels. No gym, no pills, no effort, just 30 seconds, and blood begins to actively circulate, even through the smallest vessels in your brain. Why is this so important? We age, blood circulation slows down, especially if you sit a lot. The brain receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients, and neurons begin to starve. You start forgetting simple things not because you're getting old, but because your brain is literally suffocating. Michelin did this exercise every day for 1-2 minutes and recommended it to everyone who wants to preserve their memory. Yes, it sounds simple, but the effect is real. Unbelievable. In America, a woman named Evelyn, age 77, began doing this exercise every morning and evening. After 2 weeks, she told her daughter, "It's like a fog lifted from my mind. I remembered where I had put the old photo albums I'd been searching for over 3 months. But there's one important condition. You have to do it regularly, like brushing your teeth or having your morning tea. Because every day you don't move is a day your brain loses strength." But what if I told you that even nutrition can restore memory? There is a plant-based ingredient you've likely underestimated your whole life. More on that next. If you want to try this simple movement today, write in the comments, "I'm moving," and I'll know you've taken your first step toward regaining the power of your brain. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the Conscious Knowledge channel and hit the bell so you don't miss the upcoming techniques that could save your memory. The second habit is a secret of nature that nourishes the brain. Alexander McCoolin believed the brain must be supported not just with movement, but with a special kind of natural fuel. He called them adaptogens, plants that help the body cope with stress, fatigue, and even aging. But one in particular stood out to him: ginseng. Not pills, not chemicals, but a natural remedy used for centuries in China and Korea to restore vitality and mental clarity. Michelin claimed that ginseng improves blood flow to the brain, saturates brain cells with oxygen, and helps maintain concentration, even in old age. One man from Ohio, Robert, aged 74, was on the brink of despair. He complained that every morning felt like his mind was still asleep. He started a regimen of ginseng tincture, 20 drops twice a day, 30 minutes before meals. By the second week, he said he was reading newspapers again, solving crosswords, and, most importantly, remembering the names of his new neighbors, something he hadn't managed to do for the past 2 years. But there's a nuance. Ginseng is not a toy. Don't take it in the evening, especially if you have high blood pressure. And after 3 weeks, take a break so your body doesn't build resistance. Every day you fail to nourish your brain is a step toward it forgetting you. But if you give it what it needs, it will thank you with clarity, focus, and a vibrant memory. And what if I told you that there's an even more powerful brain-boosting mixture right in your kitchen? One simple drink that can help restore neurons. The next part may surprise you. The third habit: memory in a spoon. A simple home recipe. Sometimes you don't need expensive medications or rare herbs. Something that supports mental clarity and restores memory might be sitting right in your kitchen. Alexander Michelin was surprised to discover that a basic mix of honey and celery can activate brain function as effectively as pharmaceutical drugs. Honey is a natural antioxidant. It improves blood circulation and protects the brain from degeneration and aging. Celery is not just a soup ingredient, it restores neural connections, helps with concentration, and enhances attention. Together, they create an amazing effect, especially when taken daily. Michelin recommended a simple recipe. Take a small celery. Root, about 10-15 centimeters. Chop it finely. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey and pour warm, not hot, water over it. Let it steep for a couple of hours. Drink 1 glass a day, and within a week, you may notice a change. It becomes easier to remember lists, names, even dreams. Martha from Florida, 80 years old, once told her granddaughter, "I suddenly remembered the name of my 3rd grade teacher." That hasn't happened to me in 40 years. She had simply been drinking this mixture every morning before breakfast. It's accessible, it's simple, and it works. But most people don't even suspect such a thing is possible. They keep complaining about forgetfulness, while their brain quietly starves. Now imagine, if you add one more powerful ingredient, known since ancient times, you can strengthen not just memory, but your entire nervous system. In the next part, the recipe that has become a real breakthrough for elderly people around the world. If you plan to try this drink tomorrow, write in the comments, "Memory in a spoon," so we know you're on the path to reclaiming your mind. And don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss other simple, powerful recipes for your brain. Fourth habit, posture that preserves memory. Few people realize how much body position affects brain function, but Alexander Mikulin knew. A slouched back is not just a bad habit, it's a direct threat to your memory. When you sit with your head down, neck tense, and back hunched, the blood vessels in your spine get compressed. Blood flows poorly to the brain. Oxygen doesn't reach the neurons. As a result, you lose mental speed, focus, and the ability to remember. You're not aging. You're depriving your brain of what it needs to survive. Mikulin recommended simple but effective exercises, stretching arms up, hanging from a bar, even the classic walk with a book on your head. These movements align the spine, improve breathing, and thus increase oxygen to the brain. All this without pills, without machines, without doctors. Henry, a former architect from Virginia, shared that after 3 weeks of such exercises, not only did he start sleeping better, but he remembered how to solve problems he hadn't touched since he was 60. His daughter was shocked. Dad speaks more clearly, forgets less, and it's like he's himself again. We don't realize how much time we spend in chairs, on phones, in front of TVs, and that is what slowly disconnects the brain from life. Posture is not just about your back, it's about your memory, your future, your identity. But even if you're doing everything right, without one final step, you won't preserve mental clarity into deep old age, because there's one last habit that separates those who age quickly from those who stay alive inside, even at 90. Let's move on to the final part. Fifth habit, train your brain, or lose it. Alexander Mikulin always said, "The brain is like a muscle. Stop using it and it decays." That's not a metaphor. It's the reality faced by millions of elderly people. As soon as someone retires, stops learning new things, stops reading or solving problems, their mind begins to fade. Slowly. Irreversibly. But Mikulin knew how to stop it. He gave himself mental workouts every day, memorizing poems, learning foreign words, solving logic puzzles. Even at 75, he could talk for hours about technical details of jet engines he had designed 50 years earlier. He recommended a simple exercise. Every night before bed, recall 5 new things you learned or did that day. It could be anything. A new word, a name, a recipe, an interesting fact, a conversation. This method not only trains memory, it builds new neural connections. That means your brain renews itself. Lives. Linda from California, 82 years old, began with this tiny ritual, and a month later she wrote the first chapter of her autobiography, which she'd been unable to start for 10 years. She said, "I felt my brain come alive, as if a light turned on again. But the key is, don't skip a single day. One missed day, and the brain begins to relax. 2 days, and it loses tone. A week, and you start slipping backward. It's like forgetting how to ride a bike. But with memory, you might never get it back. Now you know the truth. Memory isn't just a brain function, it's the mirror of your life. And if you lose it, you lose pieces of yourself. But you've also learned you can stop it." 5 simple habits. 5 steps anyone can take, even if you're over 70, even if you think it's too late. It's never too late to get your clarity back. Movement, nutrition, adaptogens, posture, mental training. These can give you not just mental energy, they can give you back confidence, joy, vitality. Imagine, a month from now, you're easily recalling names, dreams, and your favorite memories. Your loved ones look at you with amazement. You've changed, you're sharp, you're alive. But here's what matters now. Not just knowing this, but starting. Because tomorrow might be too late. Don't postpone. Start with just one habit today. Check your posture. Do the gravitational impulse. Brew the honey mix. Write down 5 new facts. Feel yourself return. If you're still watching this and find this knowledge valuable, please write the number 2 in the comments so I know you're with us. And if you haven't subscribed to Conscious Knowledge, I highly recommend you click subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps us keep creating content that informs, inspires, and empowers you to live better. In the next video, we'll talk about everyday foods that may silently damage your brain. Don't miss it.